If I can ask you to sing this last verse with me, not just the people here, but the people at home, at work, as one, unite.
Yeah.
Here's some things we can focus on. One.
You are in the cut.
And two.
And I'm Arthur. You're in the cut with Arthur.
I want to see some drawings of penises.
In the cut with Arthur.
What the does that mean?
Sucking a galactic penis.
We build different, dog. We build different.
This whole beach was completely covered in dicks. If somebody said I'd eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
Rewind time.
You are in the cut, and I'm Arthur, and you're in the cut with Arthur. So this is a very confusing story, but it's very interesting, and I would share it with you anyway. But I may butcher this while I'm sharing the story, but like it's that wild though that it's confusing to explain because it's wild.
Okay, so let's untangle it here.
We'll try. So basically, there is a community known as Lakers Twitter. And if Justin was here, he would definitely know because he is also a part of Lakers Twitter. So basically, it's just the Twitterverse and the collection of fans that always tweet about the Lakers. We roast a lot. We talk a lot of shit. A lot of people don't like Lakers Twitter. But, you know, being a Lakers fan, I'm a part of Lakers Twitter as well. So something unfolded just on Sunday. Apparently, like I don't know everybody in Lakers Twitter, but apparently there was let's see. Bear with me, like I said. So there is supposedly, allegedly, this podcaster, Vivian Flores, and supposedly this guy Josh, well, not supposedly, this guy Josh basically goes on Twitter and says, hey, this person is missing. And they were last seen in Santa Monica. So supposedly this person that has a podcast also has cancer.
What?
Yes, they also have cancer. They and supposedly Josh finds out by her sister, Vivian's sister, messaging Josh and saying, hey, Vivian's missing. And I guess Vivian had told Josh before, like, oh, if I ever go missing or anything, my sister's going to message you, or if something happens, you know, because I may be gone because of chemo and this and that. And Vivian has supposedly also been, I guess, on Josh Has a Podcast and recorded with him. So a big member of Lakers Twitter is Ice Cube's son.
Mm-hmm.
And so he retweets Josh saying, no way, are you serious? Everyone, please retweet this. Anyone in the area, super dope soul, please help. Allegedly, the Los Angeles Lakers official account reaches out to Josh saying that the head of security for the Lakers is going to reach out to them and that Vivian is a part of the family.
Sorry.
Yeah,
don't want to twist you up.
No.
But did you say Josh was like a Lakers podcaster, or he just a random dude?
Yes, podcaster /
like Lakers fan?
What was the question again? Sorry.
What, like, is Josh like, is he just a podcaster, or does he like podcast Lakers stuff, or is he like
Lakers?
Just like
he's part of Lakers Twitter too.
Okay, but does
so he
in his
podcasts about
podcast
Lakers,
does he,
believe.
got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then does Vivian too, or is she just kind of?
Vivian's a part of Lakers Twitter and has a Lakers podcast.
Got you.
Apparently.
Okay.
I've never seen her, and
Allegedly.
I've definitely seen obviously Ice Cube's son heavy in Lakers Twitter. So let's see. Okay, so then supposedly Vivian was found Monday night, and I guess this whole thing obviously went viral, right? Like people trying to help find this missing person. So now in a separate universe on Twitter, Twitter has like Twitter Sessions, which is I don't know. I know we've never used it, but like Clubhouse, I'm sure you've heard of it. And it's like an app where you can like people just go and talk and stuff. Like, so it's basically like a vocal chat room, sounds like.
Haven't heard of it, but I get what you mean. Like I
So
kind of
basically,
understand
and
what
then
you're saying.
Twitter saw that was kind of being popular, like, because I'm sure you've seen, I think even on Ally and Bean, like they've said like, oh, like oh, are you on Clubhouse, or have you heard of it? And like I think right now it's what like every social media does to try to stay exclusive. Like right now it's invite only
Got you.
to get into it. So anyway, Twitter made their own thing. I guess it's called Twitter Spaces to compete.
So original.
Yeah. So there was this guy in there, and so was Manti Te'o, who infamously had supposedly was catfished. And Kevin Durant was in there, who loves to be wild on Twitter talking shit. And the name of this Twitter Spaces was Elite Catfishers, or catfishing. And now it's funny that Kevin Durant's in there, because Kevin Durant's been famously accused of having burner accounts to talk shit when people talk shit on him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So supposedly
was Viven Max in there, or what?
Who
was Neve in there,
shit.
or what?
I not that I heard, but I guess somehow this Vivian thing came up, and this guy it's Kingsborough says Vivian's not real. I've been catfished by Vivian.
No.
That supposedly he used to talk to this person, and that they never wanted to meet up. They never wanted to FaceTime. Like they were always messaging, like they didn't have an iPhone, which KD roasted and said like, yo, if I text you and the bubbles go green, like I'm not even gonna waste my time with you. So KD came with the heat.
Okay, but the new Samsung 21 just came out.
Oh, you acted like you ripped that shit.
I don't.
So anyway, yeah.
But Samsung sponsoring us, so hey, keep it on the low. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, they start talking about this, and let me see. There's a little
man. They was locked in.
Can y'all slow down for a second?
All right, look, bro.
All right, so you saying who the hell is Kings?
The nigga right there, Big Kings. You see him on the screen?
Hey, you better not call him Big Kings again, bro.
Nah, bro, that's what his shit say right there, man. Come on.
So you saying he linked up, tried to link up with a bot?
No, with a nigga.
Bruh, how y'all know for sure it was a guy behind
no one knows,
right, listen, bro. Look, this how I know it's a
Kane's
guy.
got to tell the story, bro. What made him call it off? That's all.
Hold on, what?
Bro, so look, I'm gonna say the shit. So the niggas was on FaceTime, right? Well, no, they were texting, and he wanted to FaceTime, and the dog was like, "Yeah, I can't get on FaceTime with you because I'm scarred," or some shit like that. That nigga had mental abuse from FaceTime. So supposedly the nigga told Kangs that he doesn't want to get on there, and then he doesn't accept him. So you put it together.
So Big Kings. So Big Kings got catfish for how long? By another guy?
For a month.
Nobody knows who this is, bro. Come on, dog.
For like a month, man.
Nah, fam. Fam. You can't let that happen to you, Chance.
Nigga, nobody knows who this is, bro.
Nah, man.
Dude,
nah,
look, though,
nigga, you need to find out.
Nah.
You need to find out.
So this all happens around the same time that this chick is supposedly missing. But it just like turned into this whole like viral Twitter thing, especially because you had like Lakers Twitter over here going like, oh my God, like this member of our community is missing. And even famous people are tweeting saying, go find this person. And then over here, like in another bubble, just kind of happening at the same time, is this conversation about how they were catfished about this person. And of course, Kevin Durant always pops off on Twitter because sometimes he'd be wilding on there. So of course, like it just got a lot of traction. It's just like everybody was like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, so who's Vivian and who's Josh? A lot of people think that Josh is the catfish for Vivian, and that it's him doing it. And then supposedly some guy went on like a video with him and was like, oh, like it's not a catfish, like I know he's not doing it. But then like people are getting hardcore now because you know how the internet gets, and even like modulating that guy's voice like down. And I guess supposedly that time that this guy was on, or Vivian was on the podcast, I guess sounds like that guy. Let me okay, so then you know how people get, people start, let me share my screen real quick. People start investigating, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see the internet?
Mm-hmm.
So people start going through her Twitter and looking at her pictures and going like, yo, these shits are photoshopped. Like, who believed this?
That looks photoshopped.
Look at, babe, this stuff's just from yesterday.
That looks so photoshopped.
They're like, yo, who was getting away with this? And for the people who are only on the pod, it literally looks like somebody put where you put the face filter to put your face on somebody else's.
Yes, it looks like someone just photoshopped another face onto a body.
Very poorly.
Yes. Like,
then there's high school Vivian.
Not okay. Who the fuck photoshopped
this one? Is so bad.
This face onto, okay, you have
because
to explain
apparently
it
Vivian
for
was
people
an overseas
podcast.
hooper as part of her backstory.
No, so it's just literally a bad Photoshop of a face on like a basketball.
And then
artist.
people were saying like, oh, like that team doesn't put the last names on, or their first names on the back of their jersey. So like now, like everyone's like starting to put pieces together because everyone's like starting to examine everything. Like, it's wild. Look at this, was barely like 24 hours ago. Like all this stuff was just going crazy.
And now they found who that face belongs to.
It was a picture from the Filipino Basketball League.
Oh my gosh, this is wild.
So, but then Vivian comes out and tweets, y'all be on here hearing the side of the story of one guy and then automatically assume he is right about everything. I have people on here that can verify who I am. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. As for me going missing, yes, it happened. I passed out from my treatment. I'm not going to lie, but that sounds like something a catfish would say.
That sounds sus. That sounds fucking sus. So, okay, let me see if I got the little.
I think there's still more.
Oh, okay.
Let me keep making sure. Oh, so now let's talk about people assuming that Josh runs this account. Are you all stupid to think a guy going to talk like a girl on a podcast? Laughing my ass off. Come one now. Probably meant come on now. Vivian's probably just heated.
Yeah.
And not to make fun of people who have cancer, she also has cancer and was sick from her treatment and missing. And this is what she has to come back to.
Exactly.
So Kingsley want to have his say, and I shouldn't have mine. Y'all want to assume everything he said is true. Go on, but I promise on God, if I have to talk about shit, people gonna listen too. I'm gonna let y'all have y'all's fun tonight. Get all the jokes when y'all want off me. When shit drops, let's see who has the last laugh. Enjoy the game. Catfish. Then Josh has to go online and says, still haven't gotten a goddamn explanation. Thought I trusted someone and learned my lesson. Tried to help a friend I thought was in peril. I was duped like y'all, and I feel bad I was a pawn. Such garbage. Logging off for a while. Stay safe out there. You never know. You know when somebody...
he pulled the Jensen right now. He pulled the Jensen of like, hey, let me log off for a while. You know it's sus.
Yes. Yeah.
You know it's sus.
So he was saying, hey guys, I'm just, I was catfished just like you guys.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's like, I don't know. I don't know who the fuck that guy is.
Yo, this is wild.
So then Josh hopped on a video. Okay, so this is the thing. So Josh hopped on a video with his friend Waleed to claim he has proof that Vivian isn't a real person and that she had duped him.
So Josh hops on a video after he says he's going to be off social media.
No, his friend Waleed.
Oh, so his friend Waleed is speaking for Josh.
Yes. Well, he's vouching. Oh, it's not, the video's not loading. It's like shit. And then Josh, when he goes on, and then he starts sharing DMs on the day she went missing that he believed he was talking to her concerned family members. Now he got the receipts too.
Oh, now he got receipts. Okay, but how are those family members real?
I don't know. I mean, and obviously you could just text anything.
You could text anything to anyone and then just put like a contact or something.
And also his text messages, they don't look like they have dates. So he could have just done this like 100% after the fact.
He's wild.
So yeah, and then he basically starts echoing like the same stuff, like that she didn't do video calls because of her self-esteem, that they talked on the phone several times. He does his pods on the Anchor app in the record with friends function, so he never had to send her links. And then that she kept on like saying that she couldn't. So yeah, and then let's see. So then the most bizarre allegation against Vivian come from NYC DJ Chumzilla. According to Chumzilla, Vivian tried to catfish him 11 years ago using a different name. And says it's a big catfish account I went along with 11 years ago to see how far it would go and to expose them. They originally impersonated model Roberta Little under the name Joanne Peters. I contacted her agencies a few times, but I heard nothing back. It's a big catfish account. I went along. Oh, that's the same thing. At the time, Twitter didn't have any solid rules about this type of thing. So the only thing that happened was account went on the impersonate other people. I was able to track 2 emails, blah, blah, blah. So supposedly Vivian was Kelly. Oh, and she also used to be a part of Raiders Twitter back in 2018. So this person is just a sports person.
Yeah. So this is a whole. I really need Viven Max in this case, and this needs to be like honestly, a whole
I hope they pick it
dedicated episode of like him knocking on her door or his door and being like,
have to start with Josh.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've had to hear about it. Like this was so like people were. I learned about it this morning, and this happened last night. So it happened 4/19, and I heard about it on today 4/20, and it was like the number 2 trending thing in America. So like, I'm sure they've had to hear about it. People still think it's Josh because they compared like the punctuation and the writing of his tweet when he was like, what the heck? And then Vivian's writing, that it looked the same.
I'm going to guess it's him.
So and then they're saying that some guy's saying that he thinks he made it up just so that way he had, basically he made an invisible friend so he could podcast with.
How am I real? You know,
shit.
Maybe it comes out that the Yami is not Yami.
Yeah.
That you're just made an invisible friend to podcast with.
Yeah.
That is wild. So if I have this wild story correct, Josh podcaster, likes, big fan of the Lakers, involved with the Lakers.
Wait,
Twitter.
hold on. I have one more update. Vivian uploaded a video of herself holding up a sign with her name misspelled as Vivian, Vivien, but hers is IAN, before deactivating her Twitter account again.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Oh my God. I'm going to definitely have to post this on our Twitter and let me share my screen.
Yes.
This is great. You see it?
Yes.
And she says, thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Wild, right? Okay, go to the recap. What you think?
To recap this wild story, Josh is a podcaster, is a fan of the Lakers and involved with Laker Nation Twitter.
Yeah.
Vivian, fellow podcaster, involved with Laker Nation Twitter, big Lakers fan. She supposedly goes missing because she has cancer. It's already kind of sketchy that she said, if I go missing, my sister will text you. That's already weird. That's weird. So then Kevin Durant and this other former NBA or current NBA.
I think it's just a guy. No, it's a NFL player. There's a ton of people in there.
Oh, got you. Okay. So Kevin Durant, just the main guy, has this Spaces thing where they find out.
I think he joined it. The Spaces, I think, just exist, and he was in it probably just for shits and giggles.
Right. But
it also gets magnified because he's in it.
Okay. So he's in this Spaces thing, and this guy comes out of like him being catfished by Vivian, which had just been missing. And that's the audio that we heard him telling his story.
Yes.
But so then it comes out that like now they think Josh was the one who is pretty much behind the Vivian thing. So it's just been like a chase since there of just trying to see if it's fake or this is wild.
I told you. You got it.
Neve and Max, like, get on this. I need to see an episode. I will go to the theaters to pay for this shit to see who Vivian really is.
I honestly think everybody would pitch in. So today, like, so obviously people were roasting Ice Cube's son because they were like, oh, like, because you got catfish too. But like, I agree with him. He was like, yo, like, if somebody tells you that they're in trouble and you think it's real, like, you try to help out. Like, in the end, all he did was like retweet and was like, hey, everybody pass the word along to try helping out. It's not like he like paid for a helicopter to go searching for this person.
Exactly.
Oh, also supposedly Josh drove like 2 hours away to go where supposedly Vivian was and go walking around looking for her.
Stop the cap.
Well, so people think Josh is definitely in on it. And if it's not him, then it's the dude Waleed. So basically he's doing this podcast probably really with Waleed. And I'm assuming, they've photoshopped it, they've made Vivian look attractive. So like, I'm sure he's probably also thinking like, this is going to get, which I can relate to, this profile is probably going to get more views and likes because it's this attractive woman versus me. And it's true, like, unless I've posted things and they dead silent, so I get it, like, and especially in the sports world, people are going to look at a female, guys be doing guy things and like, oh, let me follow this account, let me like it because somehow this chick's gonna be into me.
I get what you mean.
I mean, basically, to summarize what happened, nothing. I got nothing for it.
I summarized it pretty.
No, you did. You did. So yeah, wild, right? I told you it was wild.
That is a pretty wild story. That is very interesting. And like
it's crazy
the Photoshop
both,
pictures,
like,
you have to put
viral.
the Photoshop pictures on. Like the Photoshop pictures look so Photoshop, like insanely like comical Photoshop. Yeah. So it's just so crazy. Like this story is funny too. Like what is going on? Like this is just like a hodgepodge of stuff.
And a lot of catfish, again, not to slander anybody or talk shit about it, make that it's funny if anybody this happens to, but like a lot of catfish have cancer. I used to be hardcore. I watch catfish all the time. Like they always have cancer, they die and they disappear.
Well, that's what like Neve always says. Like when they like every time the person's explaining to them and then they're like, oh, why haven't you seen them? Why haven't you done this? Oh, they said that they had cancer.
Yes.
And then he's like, well, that's kind of like, that's a typical go-to, which is like, I would never joke about something like that. But then again, he like, not to be insensitive, because obviously I've never been through cancer and like, don't know much about it, but like that girl in the video looked perfectly healthy. So if
Well,
she,
yeah, I mean,
I know
everybody's
it,
different.
I know everyone's different, but like it's still kind of like you
You know what
passed
I think
out.
though? Like more stuff like this happening, it's gonna make it tough for people to have who have cancer to find love online. Because they're gonna be like, hey, I
Honestly,
just
because
want you
people
to
can.
know that I have cancer.
When did it become okay for catfish to like drop that line? Like I
Well,
would. Well, they're doing a lot of other sketchy stuff, but
yeah,
like
not that
when
it's
it,
sketchy, but like, I mean, the morals aren't necessarily there. And I get, I feel bad for the people who catfish because they feel like they have to.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I
that's true.
even though I still don't think it's right. But I've kind of really feel for those people who like think it's an option. But then there are the catfish like this who are essentially kind of doing it for clout / hype.
I think that's mostly what it is. I think that this guy wanted to get clout on his podcast, get more attention to like his type of like, like
I
have
mean,
more
because as you can
attention being
see,
directed to him.
how long it's taking to, we're still very, very young podcast, but like it's not easy to just get followers, or get listeners,
No,
and
of
appreciate
course
to the
not.
5 to 13 people who listen regularly.
It's
But
gone up.
it
You
has
said
gone up,
you said
but
1 to 8, and now it's 5 to 13.
now it's
So
5 to 13, but it
slowly
takes
but
time,
surely.
and you got to be patient, and you got to do it because you love it. And I feel like Josh wanted to try amplifying this, I guess, but like I always think, and this is me,
I request elaboration.
like what was the end game? As Thanos would say, what's the end game? Because what if his podcast kept on getting bigger and bigger and there's no real Vivian? Like, what if it gets to the point, like, because Lakers Twitter is very popular and it's very easy. You've seen, like, I've been able to, like, get responses from, like, my favorite ESPN writer. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
so, like, it's, like, easy, like, Lakers Twitter is accessible. So, like, what happens if, like, Vivian gets offered to, like, oh, hey, like, we have a spot for ESPN LA radio and you guys are growing? Like,
Yeah,
legit,
and then for her to be like, no.
what are you gonna do? Because like legit, like one of my least favorite Lakers sites, like when I first started, like they were pretty just like a Twitter and like Facebook and stuff. And like they legit, like I see them on media day at the Lakers practice facility. So like you could make that trajectory and kind of like grow that way. So like what's not to say if this podcast doesn't pop off because people like Vivian, and now what?
Yeah, it's just
It's wild. It's
it's
wild is what it
wild.
is.
Yeah. That is crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to know how it ends.
I mean, unless Neve and what's his name? Well, it's not even him anymore.
No, but he honestly could be Neve and Kevin Durant.
Oh, that would
Because
be
it's
a good
not Neve and
episode.
Max. Well, for something this big, you never know. Max might come back. He just left because he wanted to do other projects. He might be like, fuck yeah.
Honestly,
But
though,
honestly,
I'm here for the Kevin Durant Neve thing, trying to
Neve
figure
and
this
Kevin
thing out.
Durant, since he's been having like all these guest stars. I think like Swaggy P was on it one time.
I think he has his like replacement person, and I apologize, I don't know her name because I haven't watched the show in a long time. But it would be sick if he had a special episode with Kevin Durant.
Durant. Oh
and
my
Neve
god,
lives in LA, so maybe after the season, maybe this summer.
Oh my god, I would be there. I would put that on the MTV like network subscription thing. I will get
that's
that.
what I was gonna say.
I will subscribe because
what I was gonna say.
Crazy.
I told you it was wild. It's just like it's one of the crazier things that's happened, and it's that's happened recently or in a long time. And it's just kind of crazy because there were these like two separate things, but then like kind of like.
But here's
together.
The thing too, like she's catfishing.
Seems like
it's for sure. Like I don't think the question on hand is, oh, is Vivian a catfish or not? Like it's 99.9% sure. I would even say 100 that she is catfish.
How did the person think like, what, the way I'm going to save this Vivian account is I'm going to have them post a video of them saying that like, okay, with like a sign that says it's me, Vivian, but then in haste spelled Vivian wrong. I've at work
I
like sent emails where like I haven't edited something properly, like changed the date for something. It's just like the most embarrassing thing. But like in the middle of this viral storm to like then be like, oh fuck, I spelled Vivian
how
wrong.
stupid do you think he felt? Because I get that even like you said when I send something like an
Like a
email.
text.
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh my fucking gosh, like I spelled that word wrong. Like I get like embarrassed. So
Well,
imagine him spelling.
like the time I text Abe something and I was off by one letter and he goes, what the fuck?
Who the fuck is that guy?
And I was like, bro, it's one letter. Like you couldn't figure that out.
him.
But
that's true. That's true. I was there.
so yeah, I it's wild. I'm sure he has to.
And it's
correct
almost like, how do you misspell your own name? Well, never mind. I'm not the one. I'm not the one.
That we'll have to break that down another time. How Yami
yeah.
Didn't know how to spell her name until probably about 4 years ago.
It's not that I didn't know. Okay, see, now you're making it sound bad. It's not that I didn't know how to spell my name. I was misled when I was a child into thinking this is how I spelled my name by my parents. So it's not that I didn't know how to spell my own name.
So
it's that I
basically,
was
the
just
way
taught.
her parents told her to spell her name and the way they spelled it on her birth certificate is two separate ways.
Incorrect. Yes. So
No, correct.
No. Like I'm saying, like they did it incorrect.
They told her to spell it incorrectly from a child. Is that's how they taught?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I just lived my life thinking this is how you spell my name, and obviously I didn't handle my own enrollments when I was in elementary or middle, like, like elementary and middle school and stuff like that. So like my mom would just write down in all my documents, like, oh, this is how her name is spelled. So that's
and then
how
when you grew up, you were like,
it's Mr. Mayoria.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So now Yami has to stress out anytime she applies for a job or anything because she has this history of different spelled names. It's also been difficult trying to get a passport because then what's the story with your birth certificate?
Yeah, because my birth certificate, my name's spelled wrong on my birth certificate. But here's the thing, and I'm not trying to slander my parents on this podcast, but they was really fucking me over. Honestly, they really were fucking me over because my birth certificate was spelled even incorrectly from the name they already had spelled incorrectly.
Yeah.
So it was like, even on the birth certificate, they had like gave me a different letter and like they never fixed it. Like it was just so bad. So like every time I like, apply somewhere or I try to get like my like license, when I try to get my license and like all this stuff, like it's just like, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. And like, that's all thanks to my parents. Like for a year, I was stressed that I was going to get in trouble with like the IRS. Vivian, girl, I get you. Vivian, girl, I could feel that. I guess I could see that. Maybe she figured out in between all this drama, like she saw her birth certificate. She was like, wait, hold up. That's not how you spell Vivian. So
I have cancer.
And then so she corrected it.
Wow.
That's wild.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Yeah. But and again, like, it seems like that's the go-to for every catfish. It shouldn't be, but that and accidents or like a family member dying is always the go-to.
I think it's because it gives you so many excuses. Like, it's easy if you have cancer to be sick and out for a week, or be too tired or have treatment, or if you want to cut it off, you died.
And they have done that in catfish.
Yeah, that's pretty common too.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really need to find I really want them to knock on the door and them open the door up and be like, why did you do this? Like, what was the reason? Because Neve always be pressing.
Yeah.
And I want to know the answers.
I need the answers. You ain't got the answer, Sway. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that sound.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
But yeah, that's wild.
Well, yeah, and so even Ice Cube's son, I can't even remember his name. He was like, he went on the radio today talking about it.
Oh my god!
Everybody who saw somebody in danger and thought to do something about
Amen.
it. We had the wool pulled over our eyes, but it is a special type of person to see someone in danger and to do everything that they can to get that person help. So shout out to Laker Nation. May the force be with you. Lakers in 5, but it might be 6 after this debacle. We took a hit.
All right.
I mean, I like how he said, like, he basically said that he was a special type of person. Because he was like,
he kind of hyped. Hey, he hyped himself up.
He hyped himself, honestly, and all he did was a simple retweet. Like, look, I appreciate it. Like, if that was a real person, obviously, and I agree with him. Like, you know, he hit the retweet. He's got a lot of followers.
I'm fucking
But
dead.
he was like, you know, it takes a special type of person.
He said, "Hey, I'm a giver," and I gave. Like,
that's
okay,
what I do.
Okay.
You don't even know.
So,
he was hyping himself up hard.
yeah.
Like, okay, you got duped.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, he
I
didn't know.
I appreciate it. I get,
But
like,
yeah.
he really was coming at it, like, genuinely, you know, or like not genuine, but like,
yeah,
with good intentions. So yeah, I appreciate
and literally,
that.
it's probably somebody that he's seen pop up on Lakers Twitter before, and then was like,
So
"Oh
then
shit!
it's
Like,
like,
this person is part of this community I like to be a part of."
exactly. So like, for him even to be like caring about the community, you know, it's nice. But
Yeah.
okay, the hype that he gave himself in that video.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, there you go. There's the stuff that was going on Lakers Twitter that was pretty crazy.
That's pretty amazing.